Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on what is today's date? 14th of October 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite and NXT. And let's make a poll really fast before we get started to ask you guys, what did you think of tonight's AEW Dynamite? Did you like it? Actually, I liked it. It was just all right. I didn't like it. All right, we'll run that poll. Get your guys' responses here shortly on what you thought of tonight's Dynamite. Is what we'll kick it off with. But thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, if you miss any of the shows here or miss any part of the shows here, you can catch them over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And if you're here live on Twitch, then you can support us in a couple of different ways. You can either support us by giving us bit donations or by subscribing to the channel, either with a tiered subscription or Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. And with Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you see fit that you want to support throughout the month. And we would greatly appreciate it if you helped us here out at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, because all the money we make on Twitch for the foreseeable future will be going to help families in need from the Creek Fire here in Central California. I know people personally that I grew up with in the North Fork area that have been displaced from their home. Some families are still not able to go back to their home because of the fire. And I know one family personally that did lose their home. So we are looking to purchase supplies to help out those families in need. And we need your guys' help to raise the money to get said supplies. I mean, Christmas is coming up. One of the things that I really want to do is help a family that I know that's lost a lot, that have two children under the age of 9. One is 9, one is 6. And they're worried that their kids may not even have for Christmas this year. So I want to raise as much money as I can to help these families in the Central California area, because it's more than just North Fork and the people I know. I want to help a lot of different families. And so any of the bits or new subscriptions that we get for the foreseeable future will go to help these families. And I do want to thank Broken King Slender for the 100 bits that he just donated. But with that, guys, we've got AEW to talk about. We've got NXT to talk about. Both shows were kind of just okay, in my opinion. And I'll say it right now, somebody didn't time out Dynamite right, because they rushed that show off the air. So looking here. AEW Dynamite immediately kicked off with the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Now, I'm a little confused of the title match rules. Are they 60-minute title matches, or are they 20-minute title matches? Now, I get this match. The AEW World Tag Team title match was a 60-minute title match. They've been doing the 20-minute brush with greatness, but they stated that this is a traditional AEW title match with a 60-minute time limit, not the Brush of Greatness 20-minute matches. So if that's the case and traditional AEW title matches are 60-minute time limits or TV time remaining, why the hell was the TNT title match 20 minutes? Oh, I know. So they can do it again in 2 weeks. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense to tell us that title matches in AEW are 20 minutes or 60 minutes unless otherwise specified, and then just do a 20-minute match. And if they didn't want to beat Cody and they didn't want to beat Orange Cassidy, okay, cool. But then what about in 2 weeks when you have to do the match again? Who's going to lose there? And why do the damn match in 2 weeks when that's a week and a half before the pay-per-view? When is the Full Gear pay-per-view? The 7th? Full Gear 2020. November 7th. And they're doing this damn, and I know I'm jumping ahead because this baffles me. They've got a pay-per-view on November 7th. And 2 Dynamites before that, on October 28th, up against NXT Halloween Havoc, they're doing a title match, a TNT title match. So you're going to give yourself 1 week, no, maybe a week and a half build if someone comes out after the match to challenge the winner. Or you're going to wait till the 4th and give yourself a 3-day build for the TNT title match at Full Gear, because we know Cody's going to defend that title at Full Gear. I don't know. But the show did kick off, like I stated, with the World Tag Title match. This match was really fun. Trent and Chuck got some early shine. Dax cut Trent off after refusing to break cleanly in the cover, and FTR took over. Trent got his knees up on Cash as Cash came down for an elbow drop, and Trent managed a hot tag to Chuck Taylor. Chuck hit a tope on Rio. He followed this with a Falcon Arrow on Dax for a near fall. At one point, Chuck and Trent hit their soul food half and half combo and got a 2 count off of it. Trent hit a 1-leg drop kick to Cash for another 2. Cash cut Trent off with a lariat. The match then broke down, and all 4 jumped in. Chuck and Trent hit strong 0 on Dax for a great near fall as Cash made the save. Trent and Cash brawled outside. Cash dodged a spear, and Trent ran into Kip Sabian's arcade game. Sabian was mad and sent Penelope Ford to the back to go get Miro. This did not lead to the finish of the match, though. Trent hit a swinging DDT and tagged out. Chuck ducked a belt shot from Dax. Dax then took the referee. Cash hit Chuck with the belt, and Dax rolled him up to retain the titles. Now going back a second, the whole video game thing. So the gimmick of Miro and Kip Sabian now are they're Twitch streamers. They play video games, so they have a video game cabinet that they play at ringside during other people's matches. And it got broke because of best friends. And we didn't see this on TV, but they posted a video on social media of Miro working out backstage, getting his swole on before his match. And Penelope runs up and goes, "They broke it. They broke it." And he's like, "What are you talking about? They broke it." "Alex, the arcade, they broke it. Best friends broke it. We need to go now." And so Miro and Penelope Ford run back to ringside. But FTR does retain the titles as most expected. I thought this match was good, but I expected a lot more from it. There were some sloppy spots, and FTR continued to struggle to mesh with guys on the AEW roster. Like, you would think they would come in here and have great matches with all these different teams. But in my opinion, a lot of these matches that FTR has had so far have kind of been subpar to okay at best, and not as good as one would expect. Like, yeah, the Hangman Kenny match was good for what it was at the pay-per-view. But then the last couple of weeks, like the match last week with TH2 should have been so much better than it was. The match tonight with Best Friends should have been so much better than it was. And I'm not saying that it's FTR's fault. I don't know if maybe they're... I don't even know what to think. It's just weird. After the match, Miro and Penelope Ford ran in. Miro destroyed Best Friends. Just was the angry monster that we saw back when in the Alexander Rusev days. After commercial break, the show was rejoined live with Miro's in-ring promo, intro for the next match. We had Miro and Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford defeat Lee Johnson and Sean Maluda. There wasn't much to this match. It was just a squash, and Miro won with a camel clutch because he can't call it the Accolade anymore. So we call it just the camel clutch. Sabian and Miro cut a quick promo after the match. Sabian said the arcade game was his most prized possession. Miro called Best Friends good friends and said if you break his shit, it's game over. Okay. Broadcast team immediately threw it to the back where Lance Archer was brawling with Jon Moxley. Referees and officials broke this up, and the announcers then previewed the AEW World Title match and all the other matches tonight. We then got the brackets for the upcoming AEW World Number One Contenders. I don't even know what to call it. The Eliminator thing. I'm going to pull those brackets up on the screen right now. Let's go here, here, and here. I thought I had it ready, but I guess I didn't. But that's fine. I can pull it up in 2 seconds. So we've got the brackets for this Eliminator tournament, as you guys see right here. The tournament kicks off next week, and in the first round, Pentagon's facing Phoenix. It's going to be a hell of a match. Kenny Omega's going to face Joey Janela. Colt Cabana will face Hangman Page. And Wardlow will face Jungle Boy. So I'm going to make some predictions right now. This one right here, Pentagon and Phoenix, is the hardest one to predict. But I'm just going to say Pentagon. Kenny Omega, Joey Janela, Kenny Omega. Colt Cabana, Hangman Page, Hangman Page. Wardlow and Jungle Boy. I feel Jungle Boy is going to sneak the victory somehow on Wardlow. And then Kenny beats Penta. Hangman beats Jungle Boy. Finals of Full Gear. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. That's my prediction for this tournament. I have no clue what you're trying to say in the chat. If and hate Twitch. I think I said your name right. I don't know what you're trying to allude to. You did say that isn't the TNT Championship not defended on pay-per-views? Well, if that's the case, then why was it crowned at a pay-per-view? Like the champion Cody, the original champion Cody, was crowned at the pay-per-view. Just saying. Just saying. Also, our poll is finished up here, and most of you, 58% of you, thought that Dynamite tonight was just all right. 25% of you said you didn't like it, and only 17% of you said that you did like it. Going back to the show, MJF entered the ring for a promo, and he called out Chris Jericho. They did a lengthy back-and-forth promo here that I thought got a little convoluted there towards the end. MJF did give Sammy Guevara an oversized jacket. I thought he was going to make a joke and give him a jacket that was too small or something. Jericho said that he hated Animal Planet. MJF said that he wants to join the Inner Circle and challenge Jericho to a steak dinner next week on Dynamite. They went way too long here, and I think this may have been where the show was timed wrong happened. Maybe it wasn't timed wrong and this went long, because this really seemed to go long, and by the end it just seemed like, what are you doing? Are you just stalling for time? Like, it really felt like they dragged it out longer than it needed to be. You got a weird video. Britt Baker, one of her role model videos. She was in a, I guess you could say, spa with Tony Schiavone, getting massages and facials and whatnot. Britt yelled for Reba. She got a little freaked out when she saw Tony laying there on the table. Tony got his chest waxed while Britt cut a promo about the next step in her comeback happening next week. I thought it was a little funny, but it wasn't that funny. I saw people really praising this on social media, but I didn't think it was too funny. I thought it was a little funny. I was like, haha, that's funny. But meh. They then randomly announced in the middle of the next match that Darby Allin will be getting a shot at the TNT Championship of Full Gear. But my thought was just like, yeah, they announced this, but then they're doing what they're doing with Cody and Orange Cassidy, and who's going to win? Like, I don't know. Because it's like they announced this, but is there really going to be any build? You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to build this up if next week you can't even, like, you can but can't promote this because Cody's defending the title in 2 weeks against Orange Cassidy? It's just too convoluted for me. So, we did have Cody versus Orange Cassidy for the TNT Championship. Like I stated, the match went to a 20-minute time limit draw. Cody indeed made Orange lock up as he promised at the start of the match. Cody went to taunt Orange with a pocket spot, but Orange escaped. Cassidy hit a super kick and a tope suicida. Cody hit a top rope springboard cutter, a disaster kick, and a super kick. He went to work on Cassidy's leg, including wrenching around the post. Cassidy came back with a swinging DDT off the top rope and a beach break on the apron. They did a count-out tease, but both men made it back in the ring in time. Cassidy hit a second beach break. They traded cradles. Cody used a crucifix. The pinning combinations that were coming fast and furious at this time did lead the time limit at, coming up. On commentary, they're like, time limit's coming, the time limit's coming. Cassidy used a mousetrap cradle. He had Cody pinned, but before the ref can count 1, 2, 3, well, time had expired. So we're led to believe that Orange Cassidy was about to beat Cody, but he was saved by the bell. Alex Marvez was backstage with Lance Archer and Jake Roberts. Marvez said that the world title is now in jeopardy because Archer attacked Moxley earlier. Okay. Moxley ran in. They had a pull apart with Archer. So then we get Matt Hardy. He's interviewed at ringside. Got his whole lovely family with him. And Tony Schiavone's asking about the future and how everyone's been worried about him ever since the pay-per-view and the nasty fall. And Matt said, hey, I'm fine. I'm healthy. I've never felt better. And as of next week, I'll be clear to compete. I can get back in the ring starting next week. And so a video plays, and we got a hooded figure walking around up to these pictures of Matt. And he lights them all on fire when we find out, well, it's Sammy Guevara. Guevara took responsibility for attacking Hardy and attacking his knee. And basically said, now that Matt's cleared, I'm going to have another shot to take him out and send him home for good. Matt Hardy saw this video. Asked Tony if he knew this was going to play. Tony said no. And Matt said, well, my first order of business is Sammy Guevara. Please don't. I don't want to see this again. Just let them both move on. I get it. Maybe something else was supposed to happen when Matt got hurt. But now it's just let it move on. They had to drag this out so long because they started it. Sammy got suspended. They brought it back. Matt got hurt. So it's like, please no. Please no. We get Tony again. This time he's in the ring with Tully and FTR, referees, and a lottery tumbler. A four-way for the number one contendership of the AEW Tag Team titles will be announced next week. The refs drew the names. The 14. So they had all these teams. And it's like, really? You had to draw the names for these teams? Of course these are the teams it's going to be. Private Party, Butcher and Blade, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, and the Young Bucks. Like, what other teams do you really have? I mean, you've got, like, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, but Jungle Boy's in the tag tournament, or the world title tournament. And I can't think of really any other big tag teams AEW has. Anyways, Young Bucks came down, shook the hands of FTR, and teased a confrontation. But instead, they also have Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Bros. But Lucha Bros are in the tournament as well, like the Jungle Boy. Anyways, instead, Matt and Nick laid out Private Party, Butcher and the Blade with super kicks. Okay. I'm kind of getting annoyed by this whole parties are just going to attack people whenever they feel like it, just super kick whoever they want. Ha ha ha. I'm kind of over it already. Like 100% over it already. I get it. They did this back in the day. There was a PWG thing where they would super kick the referee and stuff. Don't got to bring it back. If it's supposed to be a cool tongue-in-cheek thing back in the day, most fans watching AEW are not going to know that. I'm already over it. Like, quit just super kicking people. For what? Wrestle. Yeah, they're going to wrestle next week and probably win and then face FTR at the pay-per-view, but fuck. It's not funny anymore. It's not. You played it out for too many weeks that we're just going to super kick people. And then they did the whole thing on, then they did the whole thing on BTE where Matt texted Tony Khan and said, hey, I sent you $50,000 for future fines. But then next week, last week, they super kicked the, what's it called? Cameraman. And Nick goes, oh, I forgot my wallet. We can't pay Tony our fines right now. We'll pay him later. I thought Matt prepaid him on PayPal. It's just dumb. They announced that our main event tonight with the world title on the line will be no disqualification based off of the brawl earlier. Give me 1 second. Looking something up. Interesting. Okay, hold on. So, 11 minutes ago, and I know this is not AEW stuff, but 11 minutes ago, Charlotte Bordeaux sent out a tweet teasing the return of Karrion Kross. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Wonder what that means. I wonder how far out he actually is from returning. We'll have to wait and see, because here's the thing, though. She teased something for the last takeover as well, and nothing happened. So take it with a grain of salt, ladies and germs. But next up, we had the women's world title match. It was Hikaru Shida defending against Big Swole. I think this was Swole's best match so far since being signed by AEW. It's unfortunate for the ladies, though, that the match really didn't get much time because it went on so late. They shook hands before locking up. They traded quick cradles for 2 counts. Shida hit a series of strikes to establish the advantage. Shida hit her drive-by knee on the apron. Swole came back with a shove. Came back and shoved Shida into the camera operator before we went to commercial break. During the commercial, Shida sent Swole over the barricade. They suplexed her back over onto the floor. Back inside the ring, Swole tried a crucifix bomb, but Shida blocked it. Swole then went for a sunset bomb off the top rope, but slipped. They recovered well after the botched spot. Swole hit a cutter to the ramp and a cutter in the ring for a 2, Shida hit a straight jacket German for a 2. Shida hit a knee strike and a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Swole hit Dirty Dancing, but Shida kicked out. Shida then hit a running knee to the back of the head of Big Swole, then hit a Shining Wizard and pinned a Big Swole to retain the title. They then showed Nyla Rose in the front row after the match. So it looks like Shida Nyla Rose is the way to go, which, because if you look at your own rankings, Big Swole is not ranked higher than Nyla Rose. Nyla's actually the number 1 ranked contender. So Swole should have never even got this shot. It should have been Nyla Rose. Just saying. If you're really going to say that your rankings matter, then you should not have the number 2 person get a title shot before the number 1 person, unless for some reason the number 1 person is hurt and can't compete or out of action for some reason, like what they did with Eddie Kingston a few weeks ago when Archer was out, so they gave you a title match because the number 1 challenger couldn't actually be there. Make your rankings mean something if you actually want us to take them seriously. We got some announcements. MJF and Jericho's Dinner Debonair was announced for next week. And also, they're doing it back. Cody defending the TNT title against Orange Cassidy in 2 weeks because the match went to a time limit draw. Eddie Kingston, Pentagon and Phoenix all came out to the announce table for the main event. The announcers then threw it to a video from Sean Spears. Spears said that he isn't stalking Scorpio Sky. That's exactly what someone who's stalking someone would say. Spears reminded us that Sky saved Matt Sydal when Spears was beating him down on late night Dynamite. So Spears has an axe to grind with Sky. Broken King Slender says, at least have Big Swole beat Nyla before challenging. Not even that. Just have Big Swole win one more match. So that way she bumps up in the ratings, or in the rankings. Because before tonight, Nyla was 10-2, Big Swole was 10-3. Because Swole has one more loss than Nyla, she's lower in the rankings. But if Swole would have been 11-3, then she would have jumped up and been higher than Nyla Rose. Like, she doesn't even have to beat Nyla. She just has to have more wins or have a better record to be ranked higher. It's just it. So Eddie Kingston told the announcers that he's there to watch the main event, which is up next. Match, they tried to pull everything out, but they tried to pull all the stops out and have a full-out, hardcore, brawl-style match. But you can tell from the get-go, from the first After the first minute or two, they got to rush this match. They gave it time, but even in that, didn't give it enough time. Because the match had to end with at least 5 minutes or so left in the show to get that main event, that angle at the end, which we'll talk about. Archer charged through the entrance, tossing an extra through glass. Moxley hit a kick to the gut as Justin Roberts was doing the announcements, the intros, I guess. And the match starts, and he tries to go for the pin right away. And I go, bro, there's 20 minutes. There's 19 minutes left in this show. You ain't winning yet. Archer kicked out, of course. Archer took control of the fight before a commercial break. Archer hit a chokeslam through 2 chairs. Moxley made a comeback after the break and used a knee bar and an ankle lock. Archer crawled his way out of the ring while still in the hold. Moxley hit a paradigm shift at one point off the apron through 2 tables at ringside. Moxley hit another paradigm shift in the ring. Archer kicked out. Moxley transitioned to a bulldog choke, but Archer forced the break. Archer did a DDT and a blackout, but Moxley rolled through on the blackout and used a crucifix just out of nowhere to pin Archer. Excuse me. Again, the finish here seemed really rushed as they just went to it. Like, he was going for that blackout. Moxley rolls through. Boom, crucifix. Okay. So, I don't know exactly what's going on here with this match being rushed, the women's title match also seeming rushed and whatnot. We'll have to see. But with that, we see Lance Archer attack Moxley. And we hear Eddie Kingston go get him or go help him or something like that. And Pentagon and Phoenix run down to the ring. Phoenix hits Archer with a chair. No, it doesn't phase him. He no-sells it. So, give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting some weird messages here. All right. Got something to talk about in a second. Anyways. Archer just leaves. Whatever. Okay, cool. They start attacking. Well, no. Moxley helps or gets helped up by Eddie Kingston. And he's like, hey, man, you're the champ. You've had this show on your back for a year. Blah, blah, blah. Well, okay. AEW's been promoting this 1 year of Dynamite like Moxley has been the champion for a year. Moxley didn't win the title till February. That was November, December, January. 4 months with Jericho champ on Dynamite. Just saying. But they want us to think that Moxley's had this belt for a year at least. Anyways. Kingston's praising John Moxley. He says they go back so far. But then he gets kicked in the guts. Or in the nuts. Moxley falls down. Kingston hits a spinning back fist. Kingston used a rear naked choke. Pentagon and Phoenix ran interference on the apron to keep the officials back. And so Kingston's choking out Moxley. He grabs a microphone. Starts yelling. All of a sudden you hear JR. Well, that's going to be it, folks. It is up next on TNT. And you still hear Eddie Kingston in the background cutting some damn promo. But we don't get to hear it because the show just off the air. What? Huh? Okay. Cool. I don't know what was supposed to be said there by Eddie Kingston, but yeah, the show just goes off the air as he's trying to cut a promo, and basically they told JR, we're strapped for time. Cut it. Go to it. Oh, we got it coming up, ladies and gentlemen, on TNT. That's a fresh. But yeah, that was it. That was AEW Dynamite. I thought the show was okay. There was some goofy stuff, some botched stuff, and some I guess you could say rushed stuff. But you got some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pull up this article here from one TMZ. Because TMZ is exclusively reporting that the man that wouldn't marry Nikki Bella because he didn't want to be married got married. According to TMZ, in an exclusive report, they report that John Cena marries Shay, I'm going to butcher this last name, Shariatsideh, in a private ceremony. John Cena is a married man tying the knot to his girlfriend in a Tampa, Florida, as official records show. They've been dating since early 2019. Yeah. Wow. The man that we thought would never get married, John Cena, married. Apparently, the two got engaged on the lowdown and filed for a marriage certificate in Florida in early October. According to official documents obtained by TMZ Sports, they swapped I-do's on October 12th, which was 2 days ago, in a ceremony in Tampa. News of the marriage was first reported by PW Insider. Holy crap! TMZ calling out PW Insider. That's great for them. That's awesome to see for PW Insider. Getting recognized by TMZ. It also says Jay was born in Iran, but is a Canadian citizen. Cena is a pretty famous wrestler. Okay. Hold on. Let me zoom in on this for a second, ladies and gentlemen. You guys got to see this. Hold on. I need to zoom in on this for you guys. It says right here. Cena is a pretty famous wrestler. John Cena may be the most famous pro wrestler of the last 20 years. Or at least to come within the last 20 years. Okay. Pretty famous pro wrestler. Cool. Okay. Actor, rapper, and male G-string enthusiast. Holy crap. Okay. But crazy. The man that Nikki Bella said probably never going to get married because he wouldn't commit fully after he dated her for 6 years. And been with this chick for, I don't know, year and a half. Married her. I don't know what that means as far as Nikki Bella. She's remarried, whatever, or gonna be married. But congratulations to John Cena on the nuptials. I just find it so funny that they call him a pretty famous pro wrestler. But with that, now we got NXT to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's NXT as we put the poll up here. What did you think of tonight's NXT? I liked it. It was just right. I didn't like it. All right, we'll let that poll run and see what you guys thought of AEW. Or not AEW, NXT. NXT. So here's the weird thing. No, never mind. It wasn't weird. My streams were not synced with what I was watching. So the show opens up with Undisputed Era, no Adam Cole. No Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly comes out and says that he will be cleared next week, but unfortunately we don't know when Adam Cole's going to be cleared because he's still suffering from broken ribs. But didn't we see Adam Cole in a backstage video promo last week talking about Ridge Holland? So now all of a sudden you can't even be on the show this week? I don't know. Anyways, Undisputed Era came out because Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong were facing Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan for a shot at the NXT Tag Team Championships. So early on, Lorcan and Strong did some cool grappling based on a head scissor. Burch tagged in and he started torturing Strong's arm. Fish was next to tag in, but was also worked over. Birch and Lorcan with some double team moves, and they got heat on him. Undisputed Era used a comeback just before the show cut to commercial. When the show returned from the break, Undisputed Era had cut the ring in half, a hot tag to Birch, and Birch proceeded to clear house, though. Fish made a save for Strong, and Undisputed Era regained the advantage. At one point, a big melee led to Birch giving Strong an axe bomber. Birch and Lorcan spiked Strong with a double-team DDT, and Lorcan went for the cover on Strong. Fish again made the save and broke up the count. Fish made Lorcan collide with Birch, and Strong followed this up with a jumping knee strike that leveled Lorcan. Strong then covered Lorcan and picked up the victory, earning his team a shot at the tag team titles. So we were informed the NXT champion Finn Balor, well, he's indeed injured. He had surgery, and he's got metal plates and screws and all kinds of things keeping his jaw together right now. What this means for the title, I don't know yet. What we still do not know is what Regal's going to do. Regal was quoted as saying they're going to give it a few weeks to see exactly what's going on with Finn and his recovery. So basically, they're trying to drag this out as long as they can, hoping that Finn recovers quick, because they don't want to have to strip the champion yet again. They just stripped Karrion Kross back after TakeOver 30. And now you're going to have to strip him, Finn, who just won the belt. Oh, man, not good. A vignette profiled Ember Moon and her journey back to NXT. They called this a sit-down interview. This is way better than her live interview last week on the show. They did more to get Ember Moon over than the entire run that she had on the main roster. Like, they made her seem like a bigger star in this 2-minute clip, 3-minute clip, than they did at all on the main roster, even when she challenged for the SmackDown Women's title against Bayley. Next up, we had Jake Atlas versus Ashanti Adonis. And I haven't seen much of this Ashanti Adonis, but I see him come down to the ring tonight and go, whoo, like a young JTG. That looks like a young JTG. So the opening of this match was a lot of counters and reversals. Adonis was hit a really nice drop kick. They got into a slugfest at one point. Meanwhile, Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde would come down to the ring. Adonis was distracted, and Atlas caught him with a small package and picked up the victory. Wilde and Mendoza would then attack Adonis after the match. Atlas made the save for Adonis, and they sent the heels packing. Santos Escobar entered stage left. He looked at his henchman. He was disgusted. He then removed his sunglasses and marched down to the ring. Isaiah Swerve Scott would then run out of the crowd, actually, with 3 chairs. He backed up Atlas and Adonis, and the 3 babyfaces stood ready and willing for the heels. The heels then, were smart and they backed off. We ain't getting in there with damn 3 guys with 3 chairs. That's dumb. So they backed up. So essentially, at some point here soon, we're going to get Legado del Fantasma versus the team of Isaiah Swerve Scott, Jake Atlas, and Ashanti the Adonis. So next up, we had Johnny Gargano versus Austin Theory. Gargano out-wrestled Theory in the first part of this match. Gargano toyed some with him as Theory was reeling. Theory soon, though, did fire up. He led to a standing moonsault and got a near fall off of it. Gargano tried to cut him off, but Theory rolled through a knockdown and knocked down Gargano with a dropkick. Theory then got the better of a striking exchange. Gargano made a comeback and delivered a spear, and then abruptly we went to commercial, just out of nowhere. Later on in the match, Theory flapjacked Gargano, and he then exploded into a flurry of offense. Theory blocked a super kick, but he hit Gargano with a super kick of his own. A neckbreaker netted Theory, though, for a 2. Gargano then went to cut off Theory. Gargano flew off the ropes with a flying crossbody. Theory caught him, rolled through, and got him in the fireman's carry. Gargano countered into a sunset flip. Theory hooked to the leg and made a false finish here. They traded strikes. Gargano rocked Theory with a super kick. Gargano threw Theory into the counter like a long dart, or corner like a long dart. And then finally, Gargano executed the one final beat and pinned Austin Theory. With that, our poll has subsided for NXT. 29% of you, no. Actually, the poll hasn't finished yet. My bad. Give me one last second here. My notes just froze. Hate when it does that. Hate when it does that. All right, here we go. We're back. We're back. Sometimes when you use Google Drive and Google Docs for your notes, it freezes sometimes. Just saying. Going forward, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez got into a skirmish, a brawl of sorts, backstage at the PC in the gym area, and they had to be separated. Next up, we had Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae, with the winner earning a shot at the NXT Women's Championship at Halloween Havoc. So Blackheart was on fire early on in this match and got a lot of offense in early. She sailed through the ropes with the tope suicida at one point. Blackheart with a cool combo, dropping LeRae in a fireman's carry into a jawbreaker on her knee. LeRae cut off Blackheart, though, and worked her over. LeRae with some great heel tactics here. I did like also, going back to the start of this match, when they came down for their entrances, Shotzi always takes the helmet off and places it on the turnbuckle. Well, Candice went over, posed on the turnbuckle, and then knocked the helmet right off. It was just a very subtle heel move, but great at the same time. Back at the match, Blackheart with some strikes had LeRae wobbly. Blackheart hit a senton for a near fall. Climbing the turnbuckle, Blackheart came off the top with a senton and met double knees from Candice LeRae. Blackheart was still able to kick out at a 2, though. LeRae hit a super German suplex, and she followed this with a super kick. Blackheart still kicked out. A lot of Candice knocking her down, and then Shotzi kicking out. Shotzi hit a Tiger Driver suplex at one time, got a 2 count off of it. LeRae struck with a backstabber and then a lion salt. But, again, Shotzi kicked out. They wanted us to know that Shotzi was resilient. At one point, Blackheart had a modified version of a, I guess you could say, I think they call it a cattle mutilation, forcing LeRae to seek shelter in the ropes. Blackheart with a flying Fez press, climbed the ropes again. LeRae rolled outside of the ring, and Indy Hartwell was watching the match from ringside. He handed LeRae a set of brass knuckles. LeRae punched Blackheart with the knucks, pinned her, and, well, became the number 1 contender yet again. So with that, Candice LeRae will challenge Io Shirai for the championship yet again. Once again, what is this? For the second time in less than a month at Halloween Havoc. So Drake Maverick showed Killian Dane some ideas for matching gear and team names. Dane was not impressed, but instead he grew angry and found out they were booked in another tag team match tonight, this time against Imperium. We had basically a showcase squash. Toni Storm versus Aaliyah. Not much to talk about here. Toni Storm, the House of Fire. Aaliyah did get a little bit of offense. But that was it, just a little bit. As Toni Storm destroyed her and was made to look just like a total badass. As the finish came with Storm hitting a running lariat and a Storm Zero, pinning Aaliyah. Now our poll is finished. What you guys thought of NXT? 70% of you thought it was just all right. 20% of you said you didn't like it. And 10% of you said you did like it. So going forward, William Regal announced a few things. He said Raquel Gonzalez will take on Rhea Ripley at Halloween Havoc, and that Io Shirai will defend her title against Candice LeRae, but there needs to be more stakes on this match, and more to come later. All of a sudden, Regal was interrupted by Xia Li and Boa. Xia Li approached and said, I need a match. He goes, okay, we'll think about this. She goes, no. I need a match and I need it next week. Just about like a grudge match or something. Regal several times told her he would take it into consideration. And she was like, I need a match next week. I have to have this match. I didn't even catch who she said she wanted a match against. She was just like, I need a match next week. I don't know exactly what this was all about. But yeah, we'll see where this leads to. I don't know what her and Boa's relationship's going to be. Boa gave her some paperwork last week, and we never found out what that paperwork was. So going forward, Imperium took on Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. They got the heat. The heels got the heat on Maverick as Imperium just pummeled him early. Hot tag to Dane, and he mowed down both members of Imperium. The numbers got the better of Dane, though, as he was taken down with the double team. Dane rallied to tag Maverick. Maverick was running wild, while Dane got shoved into the ring steps. Maverick was off the top. Maverick off the top with an arm drag. Eichner, deadlifted him into a brainbuster. Imperium then executed their doomsday uppercut and pinned Maverick to pick up the victory. Okay. I don't know what they're doing here with Killian Dane, Drake Maverick, but they lost to Imperium tonight. Not really good build there. Everrise would then come out after the match to bully Maverick. They were picking on him when Dane leveled them both. And I think, if I heard this correctly, Killian Dane told Drake Maverick, "Nobody hits you but me." What? What? Nobody hits you but me. Okay. Sure. And then we move into our main event. It was the NXT North American title match. Damian Priest defending against Dexter Lumis. This was not a bad match, but it was a Dexter Lumis match, so there's limitations, and it's going to seem slow at parts. It's just how most, if not all, Dexter Lumis matches are, no matter the opponent. He looks intimidating a lot of times, but just there's not much of action. So at one point early on in this match, Lumis was giving Priest a run for his money. Maybe. And Priest would answer back with some strikes. He then landed a high kick and dropped Lumis. Priest would hit a flying elbow smash and a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Priest ran roughshod over Lumis during a commercial break. Lumis cut off Priest as the show came back. Lumis with a spine buster for a 2 count. Priest with a scissor kick and a flatliner also for a 2. Priest applied an ankle lock, but Lumis escaped. Lumis countered a Razor's Edge attempt, and he gave Priest a side suplex. Lumis hit Lumis with a kip up and a leg drop. They got him a 2 count. Lumis crashed and burned on a senton. Priest then hit him with a lariat, but Lumis countered to apply his vice finisher. Priest got his toe on the bottom ropes and had to Lumis had to relinquish the hold. Lumis was on a roll here. He had the clear advantage, but then who would come out? None other than Cameron Grimes, baby. Cameron Grimes would come out and attack Dexter Lumis, hit him with a cave-in on the apron. Priest seemingly was unaware of this interference, hit the South of Haven, and picked up the victory. The closing scene had a lot going on. All of a sudden, Priest just had his leather vest back on. When's the last time you saw somebody win a match and then go put their vest or jacket back on? Was there a reason for that? All of a sudden, we see Cameron Grimes. Priest sees Cameron Grimes and he gives him a reckoning. As Priest was leaving, he lays down the NXT North American Championship at the top of the ramp, turns his back to the ring and says, "Hey guys, watch this." And he does the bow thing into the stage, and right as he goes to let go, crack! He's hit with a steel chair from behind. He's laid out by Johnny Gargano. Candice comes out to stand over him with Johnny Gargano, but then Regal slowly comes out as well behind them. They realize Regal's behind them. Regal goes, "Oh, you two must think you guys are really clever. You must think you guys have gotten one over." "Well, yes, Candice, you'll be challenging for the Women's Championship at Halloween Havoc. And Johnny, you will challenge for the North American Championship at Halloween Havoc. But as far as what those matches will be, that is for our host to let you know." All of a sudden, Shotzi Blackheart rises on the other side of the arena. And I didn't like her delivery here. She tried to be like a horror movie monster, the way she was talking. Kind of gave me Frankenstein vibes. She was like, "Johnny, Candace, your matches will be determined with spin the wheel, make a deal. And I was like, I know Shotzi can cut a pretty decent promo and is a good talker. Why didn't she just talk? But I'm happy they're bringing back spin the wheel, make a deal. I love this. And since Saturday, you're probably a newer wrestling fan. Because you said what I said on Twitter. A lot of newer wrestling fans that didn't watch WCW are going to say, oh, it's just Raw Roulette. No, it's not just Raw Roulette. It's spin a wheel, make a deal. And this is something they used to do back in the day at Halloween Havoc. They would have a match, but then one of the competitors would pull the handle, the wheel would spin, and whatever it landed on was what type of match you had. So, this is actually a WCW thing that they made a thing at Halloween Havoc. It's not, as Sin Saturday here says, and as I've seen other people on Twitter say, oh, it's just Raw Roulette. They're just spinning a wheel like they did for Raw Roulette back in the day. No, this is actually a thing that people wanted because it was a staple of Halloween Havoc. Spin a wheel, make a deal. Now the only other staple we need are the big, huge-ass pumpkins, and don't give me digital pumpkins. Give me real fucking pumpkins on this stage for Halloween Havoc. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was NXT. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. The number again is 510-906-1341. As we do have 2 text messages right now. Person here says, do you think Johnny and Candice both win titles at the same time? I thought they were going to do it at the pay-per-view takeover, and it didn't happen. So, I don't know. I've actually heard that their names are on a short list to be called to the main roster. So, no, I don't think they win. And this text message here does state, if they're really going with Eddie Kingston again at Full Gear, why did they do the match a couple weeks ago on Dynamite if they knew that was the direction? Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I don't like it. And I've already seen people on Twitter complaining about Johnny Gargano and Candice are getting another shots at the titles. They just had them at the pay-per-view. Okay, people are complaining about what NXT's doing. But I don't see anybody complaining that Eddie Kingston's getting another shot out of nowhere. And here's my thing, too. Hold up. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen. I need to pull up these AEW rankings. Now, AEW hasn't officially announced that Eddie Kingston's getting the title shot, but they basically wanted us to think that. Well, let me pull up the AEW rankings here. Give me one quick second. Come on, here we go. So, as far as the rankings do go, Eddie Kingston is not even a top 5 challenger. Now, I get why he got the title shot last time, because they said he was never officially technically eliminated from that battle royal to earn a title shot, so that made a little bit of sense. But when you look at the rankings, the top 5 rankings are Lance Archer, who lost tonight, Brian Cage, the FTW champion, MJF, Brody Lee, and Scorpio Sky. Those are your top challengers for the men's championship. And also looking here, I was even more off than I thought with the Big Swole thing. Swole really shouldn't have got a title shot tonight because coming out of last week's Dynamite, she was 10-3, Nyla was 10-2. I forgot that Nyla won last night on Dark and gained another point. So Nyla's 11-2 as Swole's 10-3. So yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. Why Swole got a title shot. AEW basically telling us that these rankings don't matter anymore. They really don't. They really don't. And one final text message here says, not NXT related, but is there any truth to Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins having real life heat? Yeah. Seth don't want to work with him because Matt's wife went on Twitter like a year ago and said that women in WWE don't know how to work out their asses and have good looking butts and used a picture of Becky's ass. Or Becky from behind. So he's just like, I don't want to work with fucking that guy. And basically said, if I get switched to SmackDown, please make sure he gets switched to Raw. This is exactly how I was told it. But with that, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of AEW and NXT Review. I want to say thank you for joining us here tonight to talk about both of these shows. We will be live again Friday night to talk about NXT. So with that, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.